And we're going to go now to the concert goers who turn into heroes in a matter of seconds, jumping in to save their family, friends, and strangers. Dr. Jennifer Ashton is in Las Vegas with their stories and what they did right. Good morning, Dr. Ashton.
Good morning, Michael. And you know, yesterday's mass shooting was another example of how quick action at the scene helped to reduce fatalities with a combination of instinct and smart medical moves.
Even before the official first responders, EMTs, police, firefighters arrived on the scene in Las Vegas, the lives of many caught in the shooting were potentially saved by the first responses of the friends and family immediately near them.
He said, "Look, you're shot, I need to help you," and I said, "Okay." And he dropped the tailgate on some random truck and threw me in there, and I was bleeding all over it, and he took my belt and tied off my leg and kept me from bleeding out. I would have died.
ABC's Matt Gutman spoke with Mike Kronk.
What happened to your shirt?
We used it to compress my buddy's wounds in his chest. Basically, I had to keep his finger in a hole, keep him from bleeding.
I mean, you have blood all over you.
Yeah, there's a lot of wounded people.
Wow. Some jumped in and helped complete strangers.
I saw a girl with a shrapnel wound to the side of her cheek, about the size of a quarter. I was applied pressure to her wound, gave her some gauze to put on there.
You saw so many people who didn't even know each other just grab each other and go.
And others came to the rescue before the damage was done.
I jumped at my friend. She would have got hit in the back, but I put my arm over and got shot in the arm. I'm glad I did.
In the midst of tragedy, many selfless, life-saving acts.
Just normal citizens communicating and working together. It was completely horrible, but it was absolutely amazing to see all the people come together.
And to be clear, Michael, these things that were done yesterday at the scene, they can be taught, they can be learned, and they can be practiced. Very important.
Well, it's something I think it's important for all of us to know. You never know you're going to be put in a situation. But Jen, how were these ordinary citizens, how were they able to save people's lives?
Well, ironically, they did the right medical things instinctively, but there's history to it. It comes out of 2013, something called the Hartford Consensus, which was an initiative brought forth by the American College of Surgeons and the first responders to educate people with little or no medical training about what they can do at the scene before the first responders get there. And it's called Stop the Bleed. And basically what it involves is using your hands to compress bleeding, using dressings, and if those two fail, using a tourniquet. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to demonstrate on my producer, Robert, here. Let's say he has an arm wound down here. First thing you do to stop bleeding is put both hands firmly on the wound, apply constant direct pressure, and do not take your hands off to look, because it will still be bleeding. If that doesn't work, or if it's coming out at a high rate, use a shirt. You saw a lot of men walking around yesterday without shirts on. They applied their shirt, put their hands over it, same thing, firm direct pressure until you can get medical attention. And in life-threatening hemorrhage, you put a tourniquet, take off a belt, a shoelace, anything that can work as a tourniquet. The wound is here. You put the tourniquet about 2 to 3 inches between the wound and the torso. Make it real tight and keep it there until you can get to a hospital. This can save lives.
Wow, and we did see how it did save lives. And Jen, what about first responders, their training and their guiding principles?
So again, this has been rehearsed on a local level, on a federal level, on a county level. It's an initiative called THREAT. It's an acronym that stands for assess the threat and suppress the threat. So in an active shooter situation, that's what you see. H is for hemorrhage control, rapid extraction to safety, and then assessment by medical staff, and then finally transport and treatment. That can occur on the scene, and then it occurs at the hospital or level 1 trauma center. But people do that instinctively, but make no mistake, the first responders, they have drilled this, they have practiced this, and these disaster drills, you guys, go on in local communities all the time. When hospitals put out a need for volunteers, please answer it, because if 50 people show up, they're going to be practicing on 50 people. If 500 people show up, it's a better preparation for a disaster drill like this.
Yeah, we knew that trauma center only had 17 people on average, the most they'd ever had. In this case, they had over 100. And Jen, you talked about trauma centers. How do they prepare for this kind of mass event?
Well, you guys, I just spoke to one of the senior trauma surgeons here at UMC, and he said that they were ready and waiting at the door, actually, for more patients than received. So the way they do it is to get an accreditation as a level 1 trauma center. The Joint Commission that oversees all hospitals in this country requires 2 drills a year minimum. One has to be an internal hospital drill, and one has to be what they call an external mass casualty event, a plane crash, a sporting event, a school fire, a mass shooting like this. And when they practice those drills, they do it for real. And this is why they were able to act so quickly and save so many lives.
All right, Jen, thank you so much for the useful information.
And you have so much dedication there as well. I read the story of one nurse there, finished a 12-hour shift, drove back to work 110 miles an hour to make sure she got back, did a whole nother 12 hours.
Wow. Another act of heroism, George.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.